J's Prescription for Health. I am your host, Dr. Jensen. I'm a family practice physician. I've been practicing for over 20 years, and I'm located in Iowa. Where are you guys listening from? This is my host, Tucker. He is co-hosting with me from heaven. So welcome, Tucker. Tucker passed away in February of this year, so we're missing him, but you guys know how I feel about that. And yeah, he's helping me out this morning. All right. So how you guys doing? Good morning, Lucy. Thank you for joining. I know it's early where you're at. Good morning, Eddie. I appreciate you being here. So while we're waiting on people to join in, please know that this show, this live stream, this podcast, whatever you want to call it, is for information purposes only. I am a doctor. You are a patient, but you're not my patient, and I am not your doctor. So this is for information purposes only, to help you increase your knowledge and be able to make decisions that might help you in the future. All right? So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I might not know the answer. There's a lot of answers I don't know, but I will do my best. If I don't know the answer, I will let you know. I'm not going to try to make something up. I thought for just to start out, I wanted to touch on something that has come up on numerous occasions. Let me make sure. I got Z Love. Thank you. Sending all her love, his love. I'm not sure, but Z Love, yes. And a little humor. You're right. There's always a little entertainment in this, right, Lucy? So, all right, you guys. Are you familiar with the term Codex Alimentarius? Codex Alimentarius. That is a Latin word, and it means food code. What is Codex Alimentarius? So I looked it up, and it's something that's come across my feed on numerous occasions, okay? And as you guys know, I am the IronLadyDoc, and so it seems only natural that I would study iron. But what is the Codex? What is the Codex Alimentarius? It is its primary goal. Again, this codex, it's a set of codes, set of procedures, a set of guidelines that's maintained by about 100, maybe 190 countries and the EU. So there are numerous countries that abide by this Codex Alimentarius. And they basically do food safety and food quality. But over the years, they give you standards. So if you're in the food business, this Codex is going to give you some standards, like what kind of food additives you can put in the food, contaminants, toxins. They're going to give you guidelines on the quality of salt. They're going to give you a standard on olive oils or any oils. They're going to give you standards on these things, and you're supposed to maintain. And the WHO and the USDA, they all kind of follow this codex. So why am I bringing this up? Well, in the early years of, let's see, I took some notes, and I don't want to be, this codex, for one of the things that I want to talk about today, is for iron. And it really got popular with iron in about the years 1987. But I want to actually go back further than that. 1987, they applied a code or a standard or a guideline to fortify iron to certain standards, depending on what the food is. If it's wheat, flour, it could be this amount. If it's some other flour or, maize, like corn flour, or if it's edible oils or whatever the product is, there's a certain amount of iron that they say is good in order to prevent iron deficiency in our body. Okay? But it actually goes back further than that. Because how do I say this? Let's just say the fortification of baby formula started in 1959. So for those of you listening, around the years of 1959, they started fortifying formula. Why did we switch to formula? I mean, my guess is as good as yours. Why did women stop breastfeeding around 1959 to 1969 and even more from then on out? You could say it was convenience. You could say that the propaganda told you that this formula is so much better than the breast milk that you have, mama. And, you need to get back to work or start work. You need to help raising money for the family. All of these things. Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Joshua. Over there, I'm live on Instagram and YouTube right now. So you could you can speculate why formula became a thing starting in around 1959. But let me tell you a little bit about the difference between formula and breast milk. Breast milk, the iron that is in breast milk. Okay, we need iron. You need iron in order to grow healthy cells. You need iron, you need copper, you need all of these minerals, all these vitamins, all these cofactors, all of these things. Okay, you need all these things. I am just bringing up iron. And they were told formula was better than breast milk. So Lucy, who it was in during that time, is speaking to the fact that she was told, or maybe she had heard, that breast milk at the time was of low quality compared to the souped up Enfamil or the formulas that you could feed your baby and grow them bigger and stronger, faster, and all of this much, much healthier. But let me tell you why that may not be the case. You see, iron fortification is usually a type of iron, ferrous sulfate. It is a synthetic. Anytime you fortify an iron into something like wheat flour or corn flour, whatever it is, whatever the food is, that is cereal, which is the flour, I know. But when you fortify a food, you are using a synthetic type, and they want it to be absorbable. And the most common form would be ferrous sulfate. Okay? Now, this type of iron was placed in formula at very, very high concentrations. Why? Because they knew that synthetic non-heme iron was not very absorbable. Only 3% about, they'll tell you it's 4 to 12% absorbable. Let's just go at 4. Let's just say it's 4% absorbed. So they knew in order to get enough for the baby who was going to be not breastfed, because they told you that was a no-no, that we can do better than what God can do for your breasts, right? Like God made a mistake with your breast milk. Now that's dumb, but okay, I digress. Let's move on. So this amount of iron in a formula was between 1.8 and 1.9 milligrams per 5 ounces. So if you were feeding your baby 5 ounces 3 times a day or more, I don't know how often you're feeding your baby, that's about 100 calories, by the way. 5 ounces is about 100 calories. And you're going to get, let's just round it up. I hate doing that, but I just want to make sure that you are understanding. 2 milligrams. So for every 5 ounces of formula, you're going to get about 2 milligrams of this iron. Okay? Now, in 32 ounces, you're getting about 12 milligrams. The amount of iron in breast milk is 0.2 to 0.4 per 32 ounces. And the form of iron in breast milk is bound, it's not free floating. It's bound to lactoferrin. Lactoferrin binds iron. And then it can be absorbed or not absorbed. But if you bypass natural God-given lactoferrin, you're pushing a whole bunch of synthetic iron that can't really be absorbed very well and used by the body, which it needs. So they slam more. So you're getting 12 milligrams of this synthetic iron inside formula per 32 ounces when the breast, God made the woman only needing to give the baby 0.2 to 0.4 or 2 milligrams, or that's in 32 ounces. 0.4 compared to 12. That's a big difference, you guys. Now, why do I make this point? Why am I making a point between breastfeed and formula feed? Because it is well known that iron is a food for pathogens. Viruses, bacteria, fungus, all of these things feed on iron. And so the way God made us, he bound the iron to lactoferrin in the breast in order to get it to the baby. So the baby is protected by the iron bound to lactoferrin. So their immune system, in order to fight off viruses and bacteria and fungus, is much improved when they're breastfeeding. If they're just taking in, so that means the viruses and the bacteria and the fungus can't eat the iron because it's not free. It's bound to lactoferrin, so only the baby's able to use it. So the baby's chances of getting sick out of the womb is much lower. So these non-breastfed babies, bottle-fed babies, are given all of this iron, and it's free. And our body, their little bodies can't process it. So some goes into the cells and is basically a free form of iron. Some is getting bound up by ferritin, right? Because that's what ferritin does. It binds up excess iron. It's trying to tell the body, hey, we don't need any more. Ferritin levels go up. Stop absorbing it. So, but you're consuming it. You're feeding bacteria and viruses. So does that, I'm asking you a question, logically, can that increase the risk of the baby getting sick with viruses? They're always getting allergies. They're sick all the time. Do you get it? You're pumping them full of this iron fortification, which is basically just feeding the pathogens. The breast milk iron is 50% absorbed because it's bound in lactoferrin and able to use it, and it builds up their immune system. So you could see where you look back and you say, God, after you bring this all up, sure enough, I did bottle feed my baby and they were always sick, getting ear infections. And they told me, just keep the baby upright. So the tubes, the eustachian tube. So when we're born, our eustachian tubes, when we're born, that's the draining tube that goes down. Okay, but when we're born, they're actually born flat. So the eustachian tubes are flat. So if we're laying down, you can't drain. As we get older, the eustachian tubes start draining downward. Okay, so they made you just stand up or sit up or don't lie down. Don't lie down with your bottle. Don't do these things. Okay, because it's gonna just stay level, and then it's gonna back up and cause infection to brew, ear infections. So don't lay your baby down after eating. But what is the food? What is the nidus for the bacteria to grow? Could it be this excess iron, right? And then say you're done bottle feeding, right? And you're gonna start feeding food to this baby, and you're gonna also give it synthetic forms, processed foods. That's all processed. Unless you're spinning down meat and seasonal wild vegetables and wild fruit, and you're spinning them down in a food processor and feeding that to your baby, you're feeding them more processing. So from the minute you start bottle feeding, that baby is becoming overwhelmed with synthetic iron that can't be absorbed. It's being stuck in cells. When iron consumption is so high and ferritin can't keep up, hepcidin goes up. Hepcidin is a hormone, is a chemical, is a formulation that prevents whatever iron is in the cells from getting out. So the iron that's inside the cells is what we call labile. It's free, it's not bound. If it was in breast milk, it's bound to lactoferrin, okay? And that helps. The highest amount of iron binding in lactoferrin occurs at the very beginning, called colostrum. You've probably all heard of colostrum. But lactoferrin, after the colostrum is formed, also has bound iron. I don't know. I think about these things, you guys. You know, if our iron is going up and we just keep pumping our kids and ourselves full of this non-absorbable iron that can get trapped in our cells, it's not a good thing. If iron is trapped in our cells, called labile, it's called a labile iron pool, so LIP, you might have heard it like that. This LIP, it's not bound, it can disturb the mitochondria. So inside our cells, there's all kinds of little organelles. We call them little organs, right? And these little organs also need iron, but they can get overwhelmed with how much iron is available, especially this free iron. And this free iron can mix with things like oxygen or water. And basically, these cells are oxidizing. What does that mean? Rusting. So from the very beginning, yes, we have mechanisms that can help take care of some of this excess iron. But if you're taking it in excess, more than your body can use, these free forms of iron pools inside the cells are getting oxidized. And that oxidation is rust. Your cells are rusting in your body. It's called ferroptosis, death of the cell because of the oxidation, the rusting. And so we have started us out at such a young age causing iron overload. And we're really not looking for it. In fact, many of you guys, you're getting better at, you guys are smart. I have a bunch of smart followers and listeners. You guys are on it. So some of the things that I am telling you right now is you already know this thing and you're connecting the dots, okay? Like Helen is saying right now, I have struggled, hold please, stop, go lay down, lay down. I got some players over here, the boys are playing, and we're got to put a kibosh on that because you never know what can happen after that. Kibosh. So Helen is saying, I struggled with anemia my whole life. I have iron infusions in the hospital. What is your opinion? Helen, there is a possibility that you don't, well, one, let's go back to definitions. Anemia. What is anemia? We think anemia is low iron. Anemia does not mean low iron. Anemia means iron dysregulation. Your body doesn't know what to do with the iron. So even Helen going in and taking these infusions, your body doesn't know what to do with the iron. So you are actually, most likely, worsening your iron dysregulation. You're pumping yourself full of non-heme synthetic iron that can't be absorbed, that gets trapped in the cells, elevates hepcidin, and even decreases more absorption. I don't know what the diagnosis is for Helen. I have not looked at her studies, but I'm giving you off-the-cuff information. Helen says, I'm constantly feeling like I'm chasing my tail. You are chasing your tail because you're infusing non-heme iron that you can't really absorb, maybe 3 or 4%. And you're getting buildup of labile iron pools. So you're making your cells worse, and they're oxidizing, they're rusting, and they're causing you symptoms like fatigue and brain fog and headaches and all of these things that you would need real iron for to make sure that your body is functioning and your cells are functioning. But picture this, Helen, because of the elevated hepcidin and the elevated labile iron pools, guess what's happening to erythropoiesis? So from the bone marrow making red blood cells, decreased production, or the cells that are being produced suck. So you are chasing your tail. You're causing this round robin mess up of your red blood cells, your iron, your oxygen. The cells are basically oxidizing in your body. And so we've been led to believe that if you just look at the hemoglobin and the hematocrit, you can make this diagnosis of anemia. That is not the case, you guys. You need more information. You need, stop. Tallow, lay down now. I said lay down. They didn't listen the first time, so I got to get a little more forceful in order to kibosh this, okay? Now, when doctors are looking into this, they need to get more labs than just a hemoglobin or hematocrit. Get off of him. Timber. I see. It's Timber causing this problem. He's not listening to me. When we get iron studies, it's more important. No, Helen, please do not take something orally like iron. Helen, I need you to look at a product called glucoferrin. Go to www.glucoferrin.com. Glucoferrin, Glucoferrin. Okay? I need you to look at this. I need you to look into labile iron. I need you to look up iron overload, hemochromatosis. These are the things that I'm trying to just briefly give you an idea of what's going on in your body. I don't know what's going on in your body until I get labs. You need a ferritin level. You need a transferrin level. You need a TIBC. You need an iron saturation. You need a CBC. You might want to get a protein S. See, now they've moved closer to disturb me. You also might want to get a hepcidin level. If you truly want to know what's going on, you need these levels in order to make a good decision. I would even get a CMP. You need to know what your liver function is. You're simply giving your body more synthetic iron in the form of a non-heme iron. And you know what, Helen? Your problem could be in your liver. Your liver may not be working. Lucy, what does a transferrin tell me? It tells me it is a protein that is a transporter. So you're thinking, well, how much can I transport iron via the transferrin? Ferritin is a binder. You know, you guys, we look at ferritin and we only get a ferritin level, or we get a hemoglobin, hematocrit, and a ferritin level. And they'll say, oh, it's not high, or it is high, it's this, or if it's low, you need more iron. You know, iron and ferritin, yes, they pretty much go hand in hand together, but ferritin actually could be abnormal when it's low and when it's high. It can look bad when it's high and it's low. And you go, so, well, how am I gonna know? Because you need to get the other levels. You could have iron in the bloodstream that is low. And so ferritin is not binding iron. There is none to bind. So it could look low. But you could have iron trapping inside the cells that's very, very high. And you can't use it. And that iron inside the cells that's trapped is because of hepcidin. Hepcidin thinks there's no iron outside. It doesn't see all the iron inside. And so hepcidin will block or destroy this, what do I say? It's called ferroportin. It's a transport protein. Ferroportin allows inside iron to get out of the cell. If hepcidin is high, okay, it sees iron and it's high, it doesn't want any more iron into the bloodstream. So it blocks iron coming out of a cell. We call that trapped iron. You can't measure iron inside the cell. But if you look at the ferritin and the transferrin and the protein S and the hemoglobin hematocrit and the liver function, you can tell a lot about what's going on. I just need you to know, I'm going back, I want to review. I started this out by talking about immune protection for babies that need iron, yes, but when it's in excess, it increases their risk of getting sick. Because pathogens eat iron. It's a food source. So if you're an adult and you continuously are infusing yourself with non-heme iron, because they told you you're iron deficient, you may not be, and you're eating processed foods, you are building up non-heme iron. You are overloaded. You could even be in hemochromatosis. And then worst case scenario, you're ferroptosis, which is cell death. And in the meantime, you are susceptible to getting infected by pathogens, i.e. viruses, i.e. funguses, i.e. chronic sinusitis from bacteria, or whatever it is. You're also more susceptible to getting cancer. It's a food source. Yes, cancers love sugar. Yes, cancers love glutamine. But they grow with iron as well. Iron is this silent killer of your cells. And so, what am I suggesting? It seems easy to me. Stop bottle feeding your babies. Never, ever, ever bottle feed your babies. Well, what if you can't breastfeed? Then you chop up your steak or your hamburger or your eggs and your liver and all of that stuff like people in the olden days, and then they mouth it and then they spit it into their baby's mouth. Yeah, that's how they did it? Of course they did. You think they had formula? That is an easy way out, you guys. That's killing our babies. Well, not right away, but it's making them susceptible to getting illnesses. What else does this excess iron do? You guys are well aware that sugar can cause insulin resistance. Too much sugar can lead to diabetes. What else? Do you think that sugar is the only way to cause insulin resistance? If you do, listen up, because it is not the only way. Another way that you can get insulin resistance is via PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids. Those are seed oils. They are omega-6, most cases. There's omega-3s that we need. We need them. We need omega-6. We're just getting too many. Where are omega-6s? Processed foods. So if you are eating an excess of omega-6, polyunsaturated fatty acid, you are increasing your risk of insulin resistance. How? By destroying the lipid raft on cells. The lipid raft is what houses the GLUT4 receptor. Why do we need the GLUT4 receptor? Sugar and things cannot just get into the cell by osmosis. It goes through, Timber, please. Sugar needs to enter via a receptor called GLUT4. If GLUT4 does not have a place to dock itself, i.e. the lipid raft, you can cause insulin resistance. Yes, sugar goes up, insulin goes up. High insulin is insulin resistance. Get it. But it's not the sugar that may be causing all of the insulin resistance. Yes, high insulin causes insulin resistance. I'm also telling you that high amounts of omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acid can destroy that lipid raft. The GLUT4 receptor is inactive. Sugar does not have an elevator to get into the cells. So it sits outside in the bloodstream. Yes, muscles can use it, but what if you have low muscle mass? There's nowhere for it to go. The muscles don't need insulin to get the sugar inside. They don't. They can do it independently. What else causes insulin resistance? Well, there's numerous things, but I'm giving you the big three that I want to talk about this morning. Iron. Iron in excess also destroys that lipid raft. So while your doctor is just looking at your blood sugar, does not diagnose you with diabetes until your A1C is 7.0, you have insulin resistance. Your blood sugars are way too high, and it's taking a ton of insulin to keep the blood sugars down. But your doctor's not looking at your insulin levels. They don't even know what that means. Folks, get your insulin level checked, okay? That's why when we're studying the iron, and we're going to also want to know what your insulin level is so we can put it all together and connect all the dots for you. Excess iron leads to insulin resistance. They go hand in hand. Increased intake of polyunsaturated omega-6 fatty acids, increase insulin resistance. High sugar diets, insulin resistance. All of that leads to infection and chronic diseases. All of it. It's not one little mechanism. We can't divide out the mechanisms in our body. Yes, Dave, metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome, they give 5 little things for metabolic syndrome. High blood pressure. Well, that's from high insulin. High blood sugar. High triglycerides. A big giant waist circumference. And low HDL. That's metabolic syndrome. If you have 3 of those things, you have metabolic syndrome. Doctors aren't even looking. I don't know what they're looking at, but they're telling you your labs look good. See you in a year. What? Don't come back until your A1C is 7.0 and then I can treat you? You keep getting sick, but we don't know why. Oh, we'll get your immune globulins. We'll check this. No, everything's normal. Well, doctor, do you check my iron studies? I've heard. And what about my liver? I've heard that if my liver is bad, well, how could your liver be bad? Look at your enzymes are normal. So you're going to wait till my enzymes go up? like 3 or 4 times normal, because you're looking at the reference range. And you're going to tell me that my liver is normal until my enzymes are over 40 and then they're not normal, when the normal is between 10 and 15, and you didn't get a GGT on me. How come? That couldn't test my liver. But you see, I can tell by other labs that your liver is not working very well. I don't have to just look at your AST and your ALT and your Bili and your ELK phos. Oh no, I can look at some other things. And I can tell that you have iron overload. Your liver is sluggish. It's not working. Your liver is a master organ. And while we're messing around with your iron studies, he's not working and doing the thing that he needs to do. He's not just a filter. He's doing much more than just filtering all the crap that's going into your body. He makes bile. Do you think a well-functioning organ like the liver is doing well if there's bile that's not being produced? If there's no bile salts, what are you going to do with all the fat that you're intaking? We're causing problems with our liver, and it starts out with fatty liver. Then it goes to fibrosis. Then it goes to cirrhosis or cancer, whichever. We need to take care of our liver. How do we do this? I might sound like a broken record, but you get rid of sugar. You get rid of processed foods. You get rid of seed oils. You get rid of alcohol. You get rid of fructose. If you want a surefire way of getting fatty liver, besides drinking alcohol, eat fructose. You will have a destroyed liver in no time. You see, fructose, was only meant to be eaten seasonally, but we Americans eat it all year round, full of fructose, and glucose for that matter. But it's the fructose that doesn't need any metabolizing. It goes directly to the liver, causing fatty liver disease. So you're basically got this fatty blanket wrapped around your liver, choking it out, making it hard and fibrotic, leading to cirrhosis, which is basically death. And you say, you know what? I don't mind. If I lived to 70, I've lived a great life. I'm just going to enjoy all. Then do it. Okay? Go lay down, Tallow. Good boy. You lay down. Timber. Oh boy, this could go on for hours, these two. Lucy says, my GGT is 10. That is good. Yes, it's in a good range, okay? I would still look at what we're consuming, okay? We need to know what we're consuming. Yes, Linda. Linda asks, is there a correlation between anemia and insulin level? Yes. Anemia is iron dysregulation. It doesn't mean just low iron. I just got done talking to you about how iron destroys the lipid raft. If the lipid raft is destroyed in the cell membrane, then glucose cannot enter. It needs a receptor. It needs a conductor to allow the blood sugar to come into the cell. And that receptor is the GLUT4. It houses or docks itself on the lipid raft. And iron destroys the lipid raft. Excess iron destroys the lipid raft. So glucose cannot get into that cell. Omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids do that. They destroy that lipid raft. Iron destroys that lipid raft. So if you have high iron overload, you have high insulin, because insulin sees the blood sugar in the bloodstream and goes up. Over time, you basically got diabetes. So you got diabetes going on. You got ferroptosis going on. You got peroxidation and reactive oxygen species and all this rusting and cell death inside your body. And you think that your body can keep up until it can't. So when you're young, it's probably doing a fairly good job of keeping up. But why would we want to continue poisoning ourselves? That's what chronic disease is. You say, well, it's just bound to happen. No, it's not. You don't have to get a chronic disease as you get older. That's hogwash. You've been bamboozled. That's buffoonery when they tell you, you know what, you're just older. You're bound to get something. No. But if you continue eating the way you eat, it's a possibility. You're going to get a chronic disease and you're going to get older. I'm asking you, do you want to make a change in what you're eating, how you're living your life? Do you exercise? Do you get in the sun? Do you stand barefoot on the ground? Do you pray? Do you hang out with positive people? Do you sleep good? Do you drink alcohol? Do you smoke? Do you put a whole bunch of smelly stuff on your skin, like chemicals? Do you use laundry detergents that's full of chemicals? Do you drink fluoridated, chloridated, brominated water? Do you breathe the air? Do you work in a diesel gas station? Are you around fumes? Do you burn wood or other plants all day long? All of these things increase your risk of cell death. They're destroying the cells. So if you only have one thing causing a problem, okay, we could probably handle that. But if you have 15 things, and if food is one of the biggest ones, wouldn't you start there? I'm not sure. You have to know what you want to do with your life. But I think you need to know, oh, Marnie, yes, they're getting along. Their Timber is very, and he doesn't matter if Talo's a boy or not. He will do it to Tootsie. He gets excited. And so I need that to stop. But he looks at me when I tell him to stop. And then the minute I get back to you guys, he goes back to it. And Talo doesn't know what's going on. And he just sits there. Yes. Good morning, touch of wood. Okay. Oh, yes. Solo. Yes. Please hear me out. I am absolutely not telling you that iron is bad for us or that insulin is bad for us, that sugar is bad for us. Our body makes just the perfect amount of glucose for us. We need about 6 grams. That's what our brain needs. So you don't need to consume any sugar. Never, ever. You don't have to ever consume any sugar. Never, ever. There's no essential sugar carbohydrate. There's no essential carbohydrate. You do not need to consume them because your body makes it. Now, there's essential amino acids. Your body can't make them. You need to get them from your diet. There's essential fatty acids. I just talked about omega-3s and omega-6s. You cannot make them, so your body needs to eat them. Get them somehow, but not with sugars. Our body can make it, so it's non-essential. It is not essential. We do need glucose. Your liver makes glucose. The perfect amount will keep you going the rest of your life. That is one of the things the liver does. So we definitely need glucose, just not what you guys are putting in. It only needs 6 grams. You just overdosed when you ate 1 piece of bread. Now about iron. Do we need iron? Absolutely. We need the right kind of iron, the absorbable kind of iron, heme iron. We don't need building up of non-heme iron that we can't absorb, that's accumulating. How do you get that? Eating plants, taking synthetic iron in the form of an oral pill, or infusing it into our body. That's how we get iron overload. That's how our cells are dying. So if you think that your body needs all of this excess, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. You're eating this non-heme iron, consuming your non-heme iron. At the same time you're consuming these sugars, you're destroying your cell membranes. You are forcing, over time, getting diabetes. Good luck with that. So no, I don't have a thing with iron or insulin or sugar. Yeah, we need these things. God made that way. So I'm talking about excess. Excess. Yes, Bobby, they put iron in all processed foods. It's because of the Codex Alimentarius. It is a food code. And it's a guideline. Now, every country has a different guideline on the certain foods. So like wherever country you're in, for wheat flour, you only need to put this much iron into it, fortify it. Maybe here it's a little more, a little less. Every country makes up their own policy on how much iron fortification they want to do with the certain foods they're doing. Lifter Dave says, you want carbs, eat veggies. So those are real, Dave? Those are, what veggies are wild that grows in the ground, out in the wilderness? Or are you talking about lab-made vegetables, the ones that are fake? Is that what you're referring to as vegetables? Furious style, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Please like, you guys. This is the opportunity. Please like and subscribe. It really helps. You also need vitamin C, so eat an orange a day. Why do you need vitamin C? Nothing to do. And where is it that you're getting it? Why would you need to do an orange? I get this question all the time. My carnivore people who follow me, they'll say, do we need to take excess vitamin C? The answer is no. Our body needs between 12 and 15 milligrams, 12 to 15 milligrams of vitamin C. We get that from a ribeye steak. 12 to 16 ounces of ribeye steak will give you your amount or allotment of vitamin C. The reason people who eat carbs that are non-carnivore, or they eat more carbs, do they need more vitamin C? We speculate that yes, that could be the case. You need more vitamin C. All right. Now, vitamin C is needed because you have carbs on board. Carbs are sugar, and sugar and vitamin C use that same receptor to get into the cell. So if you have a competition, you want to increase your vitamin C in order to get the blood sugar, get that into the cell. Now, here's the problem that you say, oh, I can see your wheels turning right now. And you're saying, Dr. Jensen, I hear what you're saying about this excess iron. And it's not absorbable. It's only 3 to 4%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my vitamin C. I hear the wheels spinning. But by doing that, you're causing more problems. You are trying to get a fake iron absorbed into your body. So you're going to give yourself more vitamin C. And at the same time of giving yourself more vitamin C, you're going to cause some oxalate stones. You're going to ruin your kidneys. You're going to mess with your antioxidant system. You're going to mess with your glutathione production. Your liver is going to suck. So I can see where you think that the simple addition of vitamin C would be, hey, just do that. I'm saying you do anything in a supplement form and you are increasing your risk of other things going wrong in your body. But go ahead, you supplement people out there. I say you don't need any supplements, but you have to do your own thing. What are natural sugars from actual non-processed foods? Tell me what you're suggesting as a natural sugar and that it doesn't come from a processed food source, a genetically modified processed food source that wasn't made in a lab. I will wait where you're going to get your natural sugar. Yes, Coffee. Coffee is saying you could eat red meat to get your iron, no pills. Exactly. Red meat is full of heme iron. Heme iron is almost 30% absorbed. Remember, lactoferrin from the breast milk is over 50% absorbed. Heme iron from animals like ruminant meats, red meat, is nearly 30% absorbed. Plant non-heme iron or synthetic non-heme iron, 3% absorbed. So you guys just want to get your iron stores up, so you're going to give vitamin C, which is causing more and more problems. It's just causing more and more problems. I'd like to get, yeah, anyway. Who regulates what goes into foods? Well, there's this, in the United States, we have the United States guidelines. There's these dietary guidelines, the United States dietary guidelines. Every 5 years, they are a group of people. I don't know how to get on the board or be a member. I don't know how they get it, but a lot of them are politicians. Honestly, I don't know who is on the board, but the new guidelines are up in 2025. So it's sometime right now they're developing new guidelines. So every 5 years they say, well, what guidelines, and then the WHO, the WHO and the FDA, I'm sure all of them are making decisions on what goes in. So the 3-letter agencies are making decisions about, how these guidelines, but every country has different guidelines. They're not all the same. They kind of follow each other, but I don't want to say that Australia is the same as the United States. It is not. They have different guidelines and different members of boards. And I'm sure they all get together and they talk about these things, but I don't want to speculate like who is doing what, okay? Yes, coffee, there is vitamin C in red meat. I said that. About, a 12 to 16 ounce ribeye steak will give you all of the vitamin C that you need in order to live, and that would be, but again, if you're eating carbohydrates, 12 milligrams is not enough because the sugar is blocking the receptor that vitamin C needs to get into the cell. I hope I'm making sense to you guys and you're getting this. So if you're eating a ton of carbs and processed foods and seed oils, yes, you probably need some vitamin C. And then that lemon or whatever, the orange that you were talking about comes into, nothing to do. They're going to tell you that steak doesn't have vitamin C. But Coffee Meats Carnivore says, and I agree, that there is vitamin C in red meat. They will tell you that it's not enough, but it isn't enough. It is not enough if you're eating carbohydrates. So it's not that they're really wrong. They just didn't give you all of the information. So a carnivore who's just eating meat and eggs and all of that does not need to supplement with anything because they're getting enough of everything they need in ruminant meats. Add in a little chicken or turkey or some fish here and there. It's fine. What about omega-3s? It's in the meat. What about omega-6? In the meat. Should you get grass-fed meat, which is better in omega-3s? Absolutely. Pasture-raised eggs? Yes. More omega-3s. But meat will supply you both in just the right amount. Lucy says, great to see so many folks here on YouTube. So much you can learn in these live sessions. I just had Dr. J read my labs and recommend it to anyone who wants to take control of their own health. Thank you, Lucy. I appreciate that. Yes, I will consult with you. If you want to hire me to consult, go over your labs. If you're having trouble having your labs ordered, if you're in the United States, I can order your labs. It is not covered by insurance. If you simply want a list of labs, message me and I'll send you a good list of labs that you can ask your doctor to get for you. You need to get labs, at least a baseline, so you know what's going on. And especially Helen, I don't know what kind of labs you've had, but Dave says, I find I don't do well on carnivore diet. I need a little more carbs, especially when I lift. So Dave knows how his body works and he knows how he feels better. And I'm guessing his labs look great. Polymath says, some guy I just met on Reddit is telling me he went vegan to heal a bunch of his issues. He said he tried carnivore, but only made it worse. I don't know what the issues are. I don't know what made it worse. But I will tell you this, for anybody listening, if you go from what I would call the standard global diet, we in America, we'll call it the standard American diet. It's full of seed oils, processed foods, and sugars. If you were to go to a vegan diet, you are going to feel amazing. If you go to a ketogenic diet, you're going to feel amazing. It's not the diets that you went to that made you feel amazing. It's what you gave up. You gave up processed foods, seed oils, and sugars for the most part. And so many of the issues that people have will get better on any diet except a standard American or standard global diet. So maybe Polymath that person was on, a lot of seed oils, a lot of sugar, a lot of, processed foods, and they're going to get better, and you should congratulate them and, and say, oh man, I'm glad you're feeling better. That's awesome. That is a great point. So guys don't have periods. So what he's saying is, from a female perspective who are still having their periods up until menopause, they are getting rid of excess iron. But remember, Polymath, you're talking about men should donate blood regularly or go fight wars, right? But here's what I want to say about that. If you have iron trapping going on, your hepcidin is very, very high, and you have iron being trapped inside your cells. There is not any amount. Remember, high hepcidin leads to trapping of iron inside your cells. It blocks ferroportin. That means the iron that's overloaded, it's trapped inside the cell. No matter how much a woman bleeds out or you donate or dump blood, you're not getting rid of trapped iron. The only way you can get rid of trapped iron is to bind it, sequester it, chelate it out of the cell. You got to get hepcidin down. You got to get ferroportin working. You got to get glutathione. You got to get the liver working. You need to stop all the toxins and take glucoferrin. It might be the only way. EDTA can chelate. It can't sequester and bind. So maybe you guys look into glucoferrin. I don't know. Get some information. Talk to people talk to the maker of go to glucoferrin.com, send an email, do whatever you need to do to find out more information. But dumping blood is also almost always causing problems with erythropoiesis. You are messing up your red blood cell production. You're causing stress to the bone marrow. The stem cells are being stressed. You just keep dumping blood. God made it so we would get rid of enough blood as a female, because that is one way to get rid of excess iron, but not if it's trapped in cells. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe from what I'm saying and what I've learned, that women who have these heavy menstrual cramps and cramping, or they bleed heavily during pregnancy and they, a lot of blood and a lot of clots, I think that they have iron overload and their body is trying to get rid of it and it can't. And so every month it's these crampy, heavy periods. And that is the body saying, you got iron overload. I'm trying to get rid of it and I can't. So every month, it's the same thing over and over and over again. Again, do I have backing on this? No, it's just me thinking and logically. It's just me trying to use my brain. Could it be wrong? Absolutely. Okay? I'm not afraid of being wrong. That's how I learn. Lucy says, I was recently reading about trehalose, a form of natural sugar. It was saying increased expression of genes PGC1 alpha NRF1. Have you heard it? No. But I will ask Richard Smith about that. Okay. I trust Richard Smith. He's a wonderful brain to pick. Oh, nothing to do just said, there's no vitamin C in steak. I just Googled it. So Google told nothing to do that there's no vitamin C in steak. So that would mean, honestly, let's just use our brain here for nothing to do. If that was the case, wouldn't you think that all of these people who are eating carnivore would have some scurvy going on? That's odd. Do we know any carnivores? I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't know any carnivores that have scurvy. Do you guys know any carnivores that have scurvy? They only eat meat. In fact, many of them are on a lion diet, which is just ruminant meat, salt, and water. Shouldn't there be a ton of scurvies going on? I would trust Dr. Google too. For sure. Nothing to do. Positive. Whoa. Google's got it going on. Alonzo says, hello, doctor. Thank you for your education you provide to us to make us aware or to rethink our health habits. That's what this is about, is just getting you to think, okay? I'm just bringing up topics that can get you to think. Do I know if all of these things is, you know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of just following the crowd and believing whatever they tell us to believe. I'm not a robot. I'm not a pawn. I used to be. I'm out of that business anymore. I'm going to use my brain. At least I'm going to try to use my brain. I need to get away from you just continuously telling me this is the way it's going to be. You're going to get old and you're going to get a disease. We don't need to look at insulin level. We just look at the A1C and we can diagnose. They're just telling you what to do. You guys are getting sick in the middle and then you blame your doctor. You're going to blame your doctor for what you've been feeding yourself. Yeah, but if they would have told me, well, I'm telling you now, have you made any changes? Now you're being told by a doctor, not your doctor, that what you're doing to yourself is causing your diseases? Well, why didn't they tell me? Why didn't you ask? Why didn't you go? You just listened to whatever the doctor says or whatever the guru 3-letter agency says and you go with it. You don't even use your brain. Would you do that with your finances? Would you go to some financial advisor who says, I think that you should get some annuities? Yeah, but doctor, I'm only 30 years old. Yeah, but annuities are where it's at. In the meantime, they got some front load fee that you're paying through the nose for. Did you even think, you would question them, say, how much fees are you making off of this? Oh, I don't make anything. Really, you don't make anything. Well, there's just this one-time fee right at the beginning. And then we're going to have a money manager and you're going to have to pay them, 75 basis points. You would start questioning. But if somebody told you, take this, and you don't question it, you didn't even ask to read the package insert, you didn't ask for any, I don't know what it's called, informed consent. You just did it. Yeah, but I trust them. You didn't trust your financial advisor with your money. Why would you trust the doctor with all of your health? Not even question them? They could possibly be right. I'm not saying that they're not. But you didn't even question them. Vitamin C shortage seems to be a belief among doctors. Dennis, I've never heard that. Dennis says, should we test for vitamin C? I guess that is up to you. There's a lot of people who test for vitamin C. Dave says, problem with meat is it's tainted with grains and chemicals. Well, but it's less bad though, right, Dave? It's less bad than a processed meat. It's less bad than processed foods or seed oils or sugars. So it's less bad. So if that's all you have access to is less bad meat, I would say, you know what? Less bad meat is better than the alternatives. Now, getting back to the chemicals and the grains that they're being fed, like let's just say a cow, they do have a multi-chambered stomach. I will say that. So they're dealing with the things that we can't deal with as a monochambered stomach. So at least they're cleaning things out. I mean, I'm just giving you some positives. I'm just trying to do some positives. All these fancy words, I need food names instead. What do you mean you need food names? Matt says, I like how there are starving kids and these people are so choosy. Yeah, do you know why, Matt? Because, especially in America, I don't know where you're listening from, but we live in a condition called prosperity and abundance, and we've never learned deprivation. Never once learned deprivation. You want all of these fancy things. You want variety. You want the rainbow, when really you should just be simplistic and appreciative. And so if all you have is some survival food, like beans and rice, eat the survival food. But if you have access to nutrient-dense red meat and eggs and butter, I would choose that. Glucoferrin is a nutraceutical. It is a nutraceutical. You can buy it online. It is not sold on, it's only sold by healthcare providers. Mental says, is raw milk healthier? Healthy. Healthier than what? If nothing to do thinks an orange every 3 days is okay, then an orange every three days for nothing to do is okay. How about that? Alonzo says, correct. You are a real people's doctor who really cares about, and Alonzo, thank you very much for your kind words. I'm not getting paid to do these things. As a physician, I don't get paid to just come online and share information with you. I truly want to help you. Even if the information was wrong, I'm hopefully getting your brain to start working. And you go, something's not right with that. Like, nothing to do, went and looked up the steak, asking Dr. Google for the correct answer. I don't think that we need to be doing that. But there are ways of getting around Dr. Google if you ask the questions differently, because it's an AI. It's only going to repeat words that you programmed into it. And so when I really want good answers, I program how I want the AI to answer correctly. And they can't, they get confused. So if you just said, is there vitamin C in a steak? It's only been programmed to tell you no, because Google works for the guideline people or works with them to tell you that you need vitamin C and eat your carbs and get oxalate stones. I am LaFouler says, can you talk to intermittent fasting? What would you like to know about intermittent fasting? Joe Mama says, we have 3 generations of folks that don't want to be responsible for their actions. They rely on others to take care of the most important parts of their lives. You're right. That's what I see. I am LaFleur. It depends. How does intermittent fasting work? I guess it depends on what you're using it for. Why do you want to fast? Intermittent fasting could be, hey, I'm just going to eat 1 meal a day, or I'm going to eat 2 meals a day. I might eat 3 meals a day and skip my snacks. I don't know what intermittent fasting is to you. There are a lot of people who do intermittent fasting their own way. Some do, they'll fast for 16 or 18 hours, and then they'll eat in a 16-hour time period. Some will fast 24 hours. Some fast 48 hours, 72 hours. That's still intermittent fasting. You have to ask yourself, why are you fasting? What is it for? Is it for religious purposes? Is it for getting into autophagy? Yes, cuisine, it encourages autophagy, which is cellular cleanup. It's like maid service for your body. And we all want maid service. You don't want toxins building up in our body. So if you stop eating, you allow your body to heal. Now, this can get bad if you're a person who doesn't eat very much anyway, and we need muscle and we need protein, and you're not eating, like a woman who is counting her calories, not eating any fat, not getting any protein. I don't necessarily think I want that woman fasting for 72 hours. But that's, that is up to you guys. Okay, here's a question on cholesterol. This comes up all the time. Questions on cholesterol. They will read about LDL and HDL and triglycerides and all of these components of measuring on a lipid panel. Your cholesterol level is really not an actual level because you can't measure cholesterol in the bloodstream. It's water. Your blood is water. You cannot measure fat. You're measuring cholesterol that's inside lipoproteins. The LDL level that you get on your lipid panel is a calculated lipoparticle number. It's calculated. They calculate LDL. HDL is another type of lipoprotein. We have been told that there are bad guys and good guys. And that is only to feed you full of things that you're never going to look into. So if you just are being taught, again, we're not using our brain. A lipoprotein, whether it's LDL or HDL, is lipid and protein. It is a particle that contains lipid, fat, and proteins, and debris, and cellular things that they deliver and drop off and return like a train. It makes stops and drops things off. LDLs, as they shrink down, go lay down. Go lay down. As they shrink down, delivering their components to areas of your body where it's needed, they become smaller. Small, dense LDLs in abundance can be oxidized. How do they get oxidized? Same way as we get insulin resistance. Excess iron. These are just 3 ways. Excess iron, excess glucose. These are the things, excess polyunsaturated fatty acids in the form of omega-6. Omega-6 PUFAs are found in processed foods, high amounts. These oxidize our LDLs. So if you have more PUFAs on board, more iron on board, more sugar on board, you have an increased risk of oxidizing, peroxidizing is the true term for it, your small dense LDLs. So these components of sugar, PUFAs, and iron on the surface of the cell get oxidized, like rusting, developing free radicals. And these small dense LDLs get eaten by macrophages. And macrophages, when they eat the small dense LDLs, can form foam cells. And foam cells have been shown to be at the scene of a plaque in your artery. Did it cause it? No. But it's there, maybe trying to heal things, maybe trying to cause more damage, but it's there. Now, How would I know if I have a bunch of small, dense LDLs? Well, you can have a pretty good chance of knowing if you have a lot of small, dense LDLs by your diet. If you are eating a lot of carbohydrates, you have small, dense LDLs. If you are eating a carnivore diet, a very ketotic carnivore lion, diet of meat, eggs, butter, your amount of small, dense LDLs is going to be pretty low. How can you test them? You could get an NMR. You can get a special blood test, nuclear magnetic resonance imaging on your blood, and determine how many small, dense LDLs, how many large, dense LDLs, how many of these LDL particles total. You can order one of those tests. I could order one of those tests for you. You could go, you can find out. But if you don't want to go to that extreme, which is not really that extreme, I don't know how much they cost, so you need to look into that first. But you could simply look at your triglyceride and HDLs. If your triglycerides are elevated and your HDL is low, you have a lot of small, dense LDLs. I can almost guarantee it. And what do I mean by elevated triglycerides? For me, a normal triglyceride level is around 70. A normal HDL level is around 70. That is a 1-to-1 ratio. If your triglycerides are 150 and your HDL is 70, you likely have a lot of small, dense LDLs in your body that are at risk of getting oxidized by excess sugar, excess polyunsaturated fatty acids, and excess iron, among the few that oxidize and cause cellular death and increase your risk of having heart disease. But guess what? Those same things that hurt or oxidize your cells are also the exact same things that are injuring the lining of your arteries, making a scab or a nidus for these small, dense LDLs, these macrophages, these foam cells, to implant themselves. The very same things. High sugar diet, high polyunsaturated fatty acids, increased amounts of excess iron going into your body, smoking, drinking alcohol, smelling diesel fumes, burning plants, vaping, fluoride and chloride and bromide in your water, glyphosate that's in the air, heavy metals that are in your soil, and you're eating the plants that grow in the soil. All of these things have a chance to injure your coronary artery lining. How can you fix your lining? Well, it's trying to fix itself on a daily basis, but you're messing it up. If you only smoked one cigarette a year, that's not a lot. That's not going to, cause injury. Your body will be able to repair. There's a repair mechanism. Stem cells come in, make baby progenitor endothelial cells, little baby endothelial cells, replace the ones that are damaged. God made our bodies perfect, yet we continue to mess it up. And then we'll get these levels and your doctor will say, your LDL's too high. Well, which one, doctor? Well, it doesn't matter. It's high and you need the statin. But why? Well, LDL is the cause of heart disease. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not from what I read. It can't be. Something else is causing it, doctor. And don't you think that we need LDL? No, we don't. Well, what about our hormones? What about our brain? What about our immune system? What about all these things? Are you disregarding all these things? Yeah, but you don't want to have a heart attack, do you? But I didn't get a heart attack from LDL. I got a heart attack from my diabetes and my iron excess and my intake of polyunsaturated fatty acids and my fluoridated water and my smoking and my drinking and my not sleeping and the no sunlight and the LED lights that are 5G and too much screen time. All of these things. And doctor, you're just going to blame LDL? So if you want to know if you got small, dense LDLs and you got a problem and you got a high risk of coronary artery disease, then I would suggest that if you don't want to get an NMR test, NMR, nuclear magnetic resonance imaging, I would look at your triglyceride and your HDL level, and you want a level 1 or less. That HDL, the triglyceride divide by HDL. So 70 divide by 70, 100 divide by 70. You want that level less than 1. What is calcified arteries? Calcified arteries is all of that, all of those macrophages, those foam cells, all of the debris, red blood cells, white blood cells. You see, there was an injury to the inner lining of the artery. That injury is from a multitude of things. Our diet is a huge contributor to that. Iron. I've gone over all of these things. That can lead to an injury. Once there's an injury, there has to be a mechanism to heal that injury. A blood clot develops. If that blood clot gets bigger and bigger and bigger and it breaks off, that can cause an MI, a myocardial infarction, or a stroke, a brain attack, a heart attack. The calcified arteries, if that clot didn't break off and it hardened over time, it calcifies. But you see, if our body senses that there's an injury and there's a blood clot, then that blood clot should resolve and not get calcified. It resolves by normal processes in our body like fibrinogen, leading to fibrinogenolysis, breaking down of the fibrinogen. It will help not have a blood clot develop and stay there. If you cut yourself, you get a scab. That's the blood clot. And then over time, it heals from the inside out and things get better. And then the scab falls off and there's like nothing ever there. The same thing happens in our arteries. But you see, if you continue to scratch the skin and break the skin and allow it to bleed over and over and over and over, do you think it's going to heal? No. Same thing with the inner lining of the arteries. There's protective mechanisms, but they can't keep up. Leads to coronary artery disease. Makes sense? Joey, I know, he says his wife can't seem to get a PCP to take her seriously. She has all the symptoms of Cushing. Then at some point, Joey, you need to get your own labs. Order them online. Go to lifeextension.com and order your own labs. Talk to them. No, I would get your own labs. How can you check for calcified arteries? That's a good question. You could get a calcium score, but I need you to be aware that a calcium score is measuring calcified plaque, right? And we want a score of 0. That's best. We surely want it under 100, but close to 0 is where we want it. But remember that calcification took years to develop. So if you've never had a calcium score and you decide that you're gonna get rid of all processed foods, seed oils, and sugars, and you're into that a year, and then you just say, you know what, I think I should get a calcium score. And your calcium score is 100. Your current diet did not cause that calcium score of 100. Your previous diet did. So if you were eating seed oils and processed foods and sugars that caused injury, that led to a blood clot, that calcified over and over and over again, then that was from years prior. And honestly, a calcified plaque is better than a soft clot that can break off. So at least there's some stability to a calcified plaque. If there is an elevation in the calcified plaque and you want to get progressive calcium scoring tests, get it. But some docs would say, you know what, just change your diet. Don't keep going under the radiation and testing, because you're just leading to more diagnostic tests, leading to more diagnosis, which leads to more treatment plans. If you certainly want to stay away from doctors, don't get tested. Change things and go from there. There's no amount of statin, like your calcified plaque is not because you had a deficiency of statins, like atorvastatin or whatever the statin is. It's from you consuming things that led to the injury. So do statins help plaque regression? No. You're not going to get any plaque regression by taking a statin. So if you have a calcium score of 100 and they say you need to go on a statin, why? You stop the injury, but why go on a statin? Well, they told me to, but why? Well, it's going to protect me from getting a heart attack. But the statin's not doing anything to the calcified plaque. In fact, it increases the calcification. Your score is going to go up when you go on a statin. It goes up. Why is the statin used? They don't know. Maybe some do, and they don't want to explain it to you, like they're lazy, or they're just nefarious. Lazy, nefarious, and don't know. It's called ignorosis, a condition of ignorance, low IQ. A statin mechanism of why it possibly could help you is it's because it's an anti-inflammatory. And it helps with blood clotting. But what caused the blood clotting and the inflammation? The things that you are consuming. So do you simply add a medicine that has many, many, many side effects that blocks a normal biologic processes in our body that we need? You're going to block all of that to take a statin to decrease inflammation and decrease blood clotting when you can simply stop consuming the things that increase inflammation and blood clotting. That seems so much easier. But if you want to take the statin, go for it. You will get about 5 to 6 extra days of life taking a statin for 5 to 10 years. Go for it. Continue to eat your crappy food and take the statin. They're scaring you. They make a ton of money on this. They make a ton of money getting blood work over and over and over. Take the statin. Well, we got to check your liver function. Why do you need to check my liver? Well, you know what? It can really mess up your liver. Well, then why am I taking it, doctor? Because we don't want you to have a heart attack. I don't know. Heart attack, liver failure, which is worse? At this point, which is worse? So there's so many things. I'm just trying to get your brain to start buzzing again. Wake up, brain, in there. Look at all the risk factors. Look at the benefits. And then, you know how many people I have that tell me that, oh, there's this 30% risk reductions. I remember this. It doubles every 6. So it's 6 and then 12 and then 18 and then 28. And you got all this risk reduction. And you know what they're feeding, the information they're feeding you full of? Relative risk reduction. What a bunch of BS. No, Mr. Rapper, Mr. Person, Mr. Doctor, why don't you tell me what the absolute risk reduction is? Taking a statin for 5 to 10 years. What is the absolute risk reduction? Is it like less than 1% of me having a heart attack? You didn't once tell me to stop eating my processed foods, smoking, drinking, get exercising, get in the sun, stop looking at my phone and my computer. None of those lifestyle changes. Get filtered water. Stop using fluoridated toothpaste. Get rid of the smelly chemicals. Don't put sunscreen on full of chemicals. Stop eating things that grow in the ground full of heavy metals and glyphosate. You never once told me about that. I don't believe in any of that. I just believe that statins have studies showing that you're going to lower your risk of having a heart attack by 28%. Relative risk reduction, by the way. You guys, You have to make, your decisions, but you need enough information. And many of you are not getting any information, okay? You're just not getting enough information that you can make a really good decision. You still might choose the statin. I'm okay with that. But I want you to know that there's informed consent. There's side effects and there's benefits. But if you have a doctor that doesn't know any of the answers, that doctor is not the one for you. Find somebody who can explain everything to you. You need to have information in order to make a good decision. It's that important, you guys. You're messing with your life. This is life and death. It's not just about your finances. I mean, who cares about your finances when your life is on the line? And we just take for granted that all of these medications that we're putting in our body are A-okay and they're benign. They are not. They're blocking normal processes, physiologic and biologic processes in our body. They are not benign. Yeah, but the side effects, the benefits outweigh the side effects, or the benefits outweigh the negatives. How do you know? Did they tell you and allow you to make the decision? Because if I told you, if you take a statin, your chances of getting diabetes goes up 50%. Do you want to take the chance? Oh, doc, no, I don't think I want to take that chance. Or it increases your risk of getting Alzheimer's dementia. Do you want to take that risk? Gosh, no, I don't. Well, it increases your risk of bone loss. Increase your risk of having fractures. Oh, geez, I don't know if I want to try that, doc. No. See, if you had enough information, or you could say, you know what? I'd rather have a fracture, Alzheimer's, and what was the other thing I know? I would rather have all those than a heart attack. Diabetes, that was the other one. Then you made a decision based on enough information that you had. Awesome. That's what this is all about, providing you with information. What are the scores? After tests, I have 129. How bad is it? I don't know how bad 129 is. It's a score of calcification. It's not a score of narrowing of your arteries. There's a difference. So a 129, how long have you had a 129? Have you had a 129 for 10 years and it's not going anywhere? Great. It's calcified, it's stable, great. But if you get one in 3 years from now and it's 200, 250, then whatever you're doing is increasing calcification. Stop the sugars and the seed oils and the processed foods and the smoking and the drinking and the lack of sun exposure and the poor sleep and on and on and on. Okay? So I can't answer how bad it is. Daddy says, are you familiar with the book, The Carnivore Code? And if so, what are your thoughts? I'm familiar with it, but I've never read it. So I apologize, I can't speak to that. Cuisine says, what are your thoughts on red light sauna therapy or red light therapy? Have you ever done it? If so, how much did it help you with your inflammation? I have not used red light therapy, but if you think about a red light therapy and the sauna, and what does it do? What is one of the main benefits of red light in general? Like the sun has red light. What is the benefits of red light? One of those benefits is nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is a natural vasodilator. So you're increasing the dilation, the diameter of your arteries, getting more blood flow. Simple as that. There are other benefits to decreasing inflammation with red light therapy. Have I tried it? I have used a red light mask for skin. You can put it on your face. You can put it on your décolleté. You can put it on an area of your skin that is inflamed. I think there are some benefits to red light therapy. I believe that it has to be quality and at the right wavelength. I mean, if you're really thinking about heart and you've just had heart attack or heart surgery, you want a wavelength probably over 1,000. I don't know the exact wavelength. Don't even quote me on that. I'm speaking and I don't even know. but you need a high enough wavelength that will penetrate for heart arteries, not just simply some low 800, I don't even know what the dose, what the wavelength is. Is it 300 or 8? I can't remember. Is it 810 or 310 that you put on your face? Most of them, there's red light, there's blue light for acne, inflammation, red light. So the only thing you could do is cuisine is try it and see if it works for you. There are people who, like clients of mine who do the sauna therapies. They go to the spa once or twice a week, just like people with tan. They go to the red light therapy sauna and they use it for healing and they feel much better. So try it. Good morning, Dr. Christie. Auntie says, I was prescribed 20 milligrams. Thank you, Cuisine. 600, 810, and 1,050. So obviously the penetration of those, like if you were just to lay the mask on your skin over your heart, it's probably not going to penetrate at those levels. Okay. So, that's red light, near infrared. Those are the red light frequencies. And yeah, so if you're thinking about doing it for your heart after heart surgery, you might want to go into a sauna booth, at a spa where there's higher amounts of the frequency of red light and near infrared light. So Auntie was prescribed 20 milligrams of atorvastatin, and Auntie is afraid of taking it. I'm taking CoQ10 instead. Please advise. Instead of what? What is the CoQ10? And this is not advice. This is just information. So my question to you is, why are you taking CoQ10 instead of atorvastatin? CoQ10 is one of the end products of HMG-CoA. So HMG-CoA gets broken down by HMG-CoA reductase, and it's through this pathway called the mevalonate pathway. There's a biologic process pathway in our body called the mevalonate pathway. And at the very end of this, one of the very end products at the end of the mevalonate pathway is cholesterol. But in that process, there's also production of CoQ10. There's also production of vitamin K. But if you block HMG-CoA from breaking down by blocking HMG-CoA reductase with a statin, you've just stopped that whole pathway. So you're not getting CoQ10. But what was the CoQ10 for? Like, what were you taking it for? You need it if you're on a statin because you're not getting any production of it if you're on a statin. And then after a certain age, there's a possibility that you can't break down CoQ10 into the usable form called ubiquinol. So you might want to take ubiquinol, but do you need ubiquinol if you're not blocking the mevalonic pathway? Probably not. So you're wasting your money on taking a supplement which just messes up the pathway. I'm trying to save your money, Auntie. Taking the CoQ10 is not doing anything. If you're not blocking the mevalonic pathway, there's no reason to take CoQ10 because your body's making it, natural production. And taking excess CoQ10 is just going to be a negative feedback. And if you're older than, say, the age of 50, 55, whatever, guess what? You're not breaking down that CoQ10 into the usable form. A lot of things that we go and do thinking because, they told you CoQ10 is good for you. Well, it is good for you. Your body makes it. Well, taking vitamin C is good for you. So you should take more? No. Your body makes enough or has enough from the foods you eat. Unless, of course, you're eating crapola, which is processed foods, seed oils, and sugars. Then you need more. That would take a lot of red meat to offset that. Just letting you know. Sooner says, I use both RLT panels and infrared sauna. There are some excellent books on RLT available on Amazon. Help me out. RLT. I'm having trouble remembering. What is it? Sorry about that. I about dropped you guys. Hopefully you're okay and didn't bump your head. Dennis says there are good IR So infrared sauna blankets from Higher Dose. That must be the brand Higher Dose. And Cuisine says, Dennis, thank you. Okay, so those are good. Oh, gotcha. RLT. Okay, you're okay. So infrared, so red light therapy and infrared light therapy. We're all talking about. I don't, right at this moment, I don't see any negatives to it. Is it a possibility it doesn't work? Of course. They could tell you there's 800, the wavelength is 810, but maybe it's not. So all you could do, and they're expensive, I'm not gonna lie, they're expensive things to invest in. But is it, you gotta ask yourself, is it worth it to you? I think over the 2 years that I have been using a red light mask on my face, along with eating a high fat, low carb diet, it has made a tremendous improvement in my skin. I look back at my pictures and I don't want to say I'm not aging, but the aging is slowed down tremendously. Now, take it with a grain of salt. It's up to you. I try not to put chemicals on my skin. The red light, I get out in the sun. I am in the sun. Lay down. I'm in the sun on a regular basis. I do not wear sunscreen. I think the sun is good for me. I do not eat carbohydrates, so I have less chance of any type of oxidation going on. Glycation is wrinkles. That's from sugar. Sugar glycating to a protein causes wrinkles. Sugar glycating in your eyeballs is cataracts and macular degeneration. The brown spots on your body, yeah, that's locked up iron being sent to your skin. All of these things, they're warning signs for you that you're not looking. Skin tags all over your neck, that skin changes on your neck. All of that are signs that your body is not metabolically working very well. Your cellular workings are not working. They're messed up inside your body. And you brush it off as simple aging. Oh, my joints are going bad. It's normal aging. No, it's not. It's not. It's something you're doing. Cuisine says, do you put tallow on your skin? I have a few times. I am not to buy some fancy tallow balm for $30 that comes in a little container about the size of my palm. I'm just going to use the real stuff. If I get tallow on my hands and I'm doing stuff with tallow, I just rub it all over my skin. The dogs love it. They'll lick your skin. You'll be clean after that. But the skin tags around your neck, that's from insulin resistance. You have diabetes, Mr. Cap. That's what that is. Get your insulin level checked. If it's over 5, you have diabetes. So no, I do not use tallow on a regular basis. It's good. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not. I don't know. How about that? But that is not the one thing that has made changes. Eating the tallow has made a difference. Putting it on my skin, I haven't done it enough to give you an idea of if it's good or bad. How about that? So yes, I eat tallow and butter and ribeye steaks and whole eggs, like 10 of them a day. And that is what has improved my skin the most. Consuming a high-fat, low or no carb diet has improved my skin. And the bonus or the cherry on top is using the red light therapy, the red light mask. Lucy says, your skin looks fab. I remember you shared your facial routine. Perhaps you'll share again sometime. I want to glow like Dr. J. The one thing that I try to do in my morning routine, and this is going to kind of slay you guys, but I put vitamin C on my skin. Vitamin C increases collagen and elastin production. Do I use a certain type of vitamin C? Yes. The minute you put vitamin C, ascorbic acid on your skin in the morning or whenever you use it, even if you use it twice a day, it disintegrates. Once it hits the air and the light, it's no good. So when you put vitamin C on your skin, and again, some is going to go systemic, okay? But you're putting it on your skin, you want a good source. So now there's even better sources of vitamin C that are easily absorbed and less degraded That's why when I initially told you, Lucy, is make sure you get it in a pump where air is not exposed to it. The minute you take your dropper out of the vitamin C container, even if it's in a brown bottle, the minute you take it out, hits light, hits oxygen, you've degraded it. So there is one that's called tetrahexadecyl vitamin C. Tetrahexadecyl vitamin C. It is a stable form of vitamin C. You could purchase some of that as your vitamin C to help increase collagen and elastin production. Eating tallow, eating bone broth, all of those things, or bone stock. I like bone stock. It has the whole carcass, and then you just drink all of the carcass instead of just the bone marrow. But vitamin C is very good for collagen production. Now, is it something I would probably do on a regular basis? I don't know. I feel like I get enough vitamin C in my high fat, meat, no carb diet. I feel like I get enough vitamin C. Is that enough that helps your skin? I can only say this is what is the result. If you want to put tetrahexadecyl vitamin C on your skin, it's going to be absorbed better and used better than ascorbic acid. From my readings, could I be wrong? Absolutely. Okay. Auntie says, I'm 50 years old. 2 years ago, I was on a strict keto diet that really worked for me. I lost over 30 pounds. That's just a benefit, like a side benefit of going on a keto diet. But I messed up going back to normal diet, putting carbs back in. I mean, again, Auntie, you have a past history that showed positive results. I don't know what a keto diet is for you. Hopefully it's a whole food keto diet and not crap, purchased in a box. That's called keto. That is not keto. That is processed foods in a box with a barcode. Hi, Angela. But congratulations. I mean, who wouldn't want to lose? Chat with Lucy says there are vitamin C serum caps for your face. Can't remember the brand I used back in the day. Probably old news. They aren't going to work as much. I remember there was what was the name of that one company? They were kind of one of those companies that you have people working underneath you. I can't remember what they are. Anyway. War on Wellness says, in high protein, high fat, how does your LDL small particle size numbers look? I don't have very many small dense particles. They're large. So I'm kind of proof. And my LDL did go up on my current diet, on high protein, or I'd say it's moderate protein, high fat, no carb, low carb, no carb. So yes, my LDL went up. But my particle size my diet wasn't really bad before I went even no carb, but it was enough that I probably had some small dense LDLs. But now it's barely any. But yes, my LDL count went up, and it doesn't fear me. I'm not feared by my high LDL, knowing that my triglycerides are 60 and my HDL is 70. So that does not affect me one way or another. I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna take a statin. I'm not gonna take a cholesterol medicine because we need cholesterol. I want my brain to function when I'm 100 years old. It needs fat. Everything in our body needs fat. All of our cells need fat and cholesterol. The membranes are made from it. My immunity, I haven't been sick. I think it's due to my high cholesterol levels. Okay? I don't eat polyunsaturated fatty acids. I try not to eat or consume any more iron. Am I trying to get it out of my body, out of my cells that's been pent up for years? Yes. Do I take glucoferrin? Yes. Find out more information. I don't know enough about glucoferrin that I can give you all the ins and outs. I know enough to kind of make me dangerous. But it's enough for me, once I got all the information, to make that decision. I want to try. Okay? I want to try not getting diseases. I'm going to stick to a carnivore, high fat, moderate amounts of protein, no carbs. I'm not going to take a statin. I'm going to take the glucoferrin. I don't need any other supplements. I'm going to get in the sun. I'm going to drink clean water. I'm going to try now use linen sheets, instead of crappy. Our clothes are full of polyester and plastics and bromide. And I know, it just gets deep. It's like rabbit hole after rabbit hole after rabbit hole. And so I just try little by little, just cleaning things up. And when my time is ready to go, even if it was tomorrow, you guys will say, wow, it's good knowing her. She gave us great information, but yet she's gone tomorrow or gone today. It was perfect timing. God took me. I'm going with Jesus. I can tell you that right now. So I do not have anything to worry about. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to keep my body the temple that he gave to me. My body is very precious to me, and I want to take care of it. Even more so than my money or my house or any other possession I have. This body is a shell for the Holy Spirit that resides in me now. Did it years ago? I don't exactly know or can remember when the Holy Spirit came and indwelled in me and I was born again. It was a long time ago. Was there some magic moment? No. I just said, I think this really means a lot to me. I think I probably said it like that. Jesus, you mean a lot to me. I don't know. There wasn't no lightning strike or anything like that. But since then, my love for Jesus has grown tremendously. And I want to respect everything he has blessed me with, including this shell. And when it's time for me to go, no matter if I put a red light mask on my face or not, I'm going with Jesus. No matter what I've eaten, I'm going with Jesus. But I have respect enough for Jesus, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, not to degrade my body and treat it like crap. Because then the whole purpose for Jesus dying on the cross for me means absolutely nothing. And that is not true. It means everything to me. And so you just have to, in your own heart of hearts and brain of brain and skin of skin, you have to decide what it means to you. If your lust and your abundance and prosperity means more to you, then you are your own God, right? You want to make yourself feel good. Lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. You want to feel good. And so you will consume or indulge in the things that make you, the God, feel better. Once you give that up and you cleanse yourself, then you live for something bigger than you. And then the abundance and prosperity doesn't mean anything. You don't need these things. You don't need that food. It's not even food, it's fake food. It does nothing for you. There's no nutritional value. That's why it's fake. They have to add things to it to make it a food. Because by definition, it has to have nutritional value. That's why everything's fortified. Everything on the shelf is fortified because it was never food. They processed it all out. And then they have to add it back to call it food and then get you to eat it. Make it tasty and luscious and succulent and decadent and perfect color and all of these things when all you need is meat, butter, and eggs. But that doesn't do it for you guys. Some of you who are listening to me on a regular basis, you're going, yeah, Dr. Jensen, I'm right on there. I'm right with you. The people who need this variety, what kind of appreciation do you have for anything? You want to eat fake food? Go eat fake food. You want the variety? Go for it. But you're only causing sickness. And then you ask me, well, what can I do? I got coronary artery disease. What can I do? I got iron built up. What can I do? What can I do? I've been eating polyunsaturated. How do I get them out? Well, polyunsaturated fatty acids will be out in, 3-4 years. So go for it. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You have to make your own decisions. But this, what you see, I'm going to take real good care of it. I'm going to do my best. I'm surely not going to, on purpose, try to disgrace it or degrade it. No. I'm not going to go play on the railroad tracks. That's not logical. The things that I'm talking to you about, people who get me have high IQ. The people who don't get me have low IQ. They don't get why I would want to do that. Because you don't want to use your brain and think about it. You would rather live for yourself. That might work for you, but I guarantee if you live for yourself, you're not going to be where I'm going to be. You're going through the wide gates, okay? And I don't want you to. That's why I'm doing all of this for free, trying to provide you with information to get you to use your brain. Yeah, cuisine. I remember that my family, when I was growing up, oh my gosh, if somebody bought me not cotton underwear, she says, underwear used to be cotton, now it's all plastic. I agree. My mom, she didn't know anything about it. She goes, you're only using cotton. And if something was not cotton, into the garbage. So here were these brand new socks and underwear and your undergarments, like the little tank tops you wear. Oh, they were in the garbage. My mom didn't even know why she did that. She just knew if it wasn't cotton, it's going in the garbage. That's cute, right? Okay. All right. So listen, we'll be back. We'll call it quits today. We answered a lot of questions. Hopefully got you thinking. I'll be back tomorrow. Lord willing, I'll be back tomorrow, Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Time. Come listen, bring your questions. If you like what went on today, like and subscribe. Check and see if you're subscribed. If you're not, click the like and the follow button. Share it with somebody you care about or don't care about. Share it. Get the ball rolling. I don't pretend to have all the answers. I might be wrong. Please share with me what you think I'm wrong about. And thanks, Eddie. Perfect, right? Thumbs up and prayers to you back. Share with me. It's how I learn. Do you know how many times I have been wrong in my life? Oh, too many to count. I have been wrong so many times that I have guilt about it. But I can only ask for forgiveness and move on. Yep, Lucy, I'm going outside right after this. Outdoors, in the sun, everything. I do not accept any insurance. I do not accept Medicare, Medicaid. It is all cash pay. My fee, I'm not afraid to tell you, right now, it is $110 an hour. So if you want to consult with me, it's $110 an hour. Message me and we'll get you set up. Email me at IronLadyDoc@AOL.com. Yes, I have people from Australia and other countries who consult with me. We just have to, because there's a time difference, like 12 or 13 hours, we just have to make it work. One of us is either getting up at late or early morning or whatever, but I've never had a problem. We've always made it work. So you do not have to be in the United States to get a consult, to go over your labs. If you're in the United States and you cannot get your labs, your doctor won't order them, just message me. I'll order them for you. Okay? Have a good walk, Dennis. So everybody's going for a walk. They're going to stop and do the thing. If you are concerned about all this iron stuff I brought up and you're concerned about your baby, your infant, get a hold of glucoferrin. Get a hold of Dr. Christy at Metabolism IQ. She has been studying glucoferrin for over a year. The maker of glucoferrin has been studying it for 27 to 30 years. This is not something new. Glucoferrin is lactoferrin without the iron. I mentioned lactoferrin. I'm ending on a review. The glucoferrin is basically apolilactoferrin. It is lactoferrin, what we really needed to keep away from disease, pathogens, and all of that. We needed it breastfeeding. And now, you know what? You didn't breastfeed. I didn't breastfeed. My mom gave me Enfamil. She told me. Now I'm working as an adult to clean this iron out of my body. So I'm going to take apolilactoferrin. Not the lactoferrin with the iron, because I don't need any more iron. I don't need colostrum. I don't need any more iron. I got enough. Trust me. I'm trying to get the locked up iron out of me. Glucoferrin, which is apolilactoferrin. Get a hold of Dr. Christy. Get a hold of glucoferrin. And I'm sure there's other people, other providers listening to me who also sell or talk about glucoferrin. I'm not one of them, nor do I want to be. Because I'm just here to provide you information. Okay? I want you to make better decisions. Hi, Mark. We're just about ending. We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central to answer your questions. Please like and subscribe. Please email me if you want to set up a consult. Those are the things, okay? So you guys, happy Saturday. God bless you all, and we'll talk soon. Later.